So this is the second part of my Arizona trip. Sedona was just really beautiful, and it was like so many things to share that I wanted to like have you see, that I had to put it into two. So this is part two, where we're heading to the Grand Canyons. The next day was the big day of heading to where? The Grand Canyon. I'm telling you, heading there from Sedona, we were going up and up and up through winding roads, beautiful, beautiful winding roads. Yes, if you look to the right or to the left, there were cliffs, but it was beautiful. There was still snow left on the mountain peaks and hills, so it was really, really scenic. My ears were popping because we were going, I think to get to the Grand Canyons from Sedona, we went up 6,000 above sea level, and so you can definitely feel it in the pressure in the air and in, you know, your sinus. But it was a beautiful scenic drive, and we were able to stay at one of the lodge on the Grand Canyon. And it was really nice. I would say when I was looking at the Grand Canyons, I felt, it felt surreal to me. It was just so gorgeous, so big, so beautiful that I couldn't even take it in. Like Sedona was beautiful and I could feel it. I feel like in the Grand Canyons, it was so beautiful and so there, and I couldn't take it in. Like it was just so surreal. Like it looked like a backdrop. Like I was watching a show and they had like a picture. That's how it felt. Like I couldn't believe that everything that I was seeing was real. One of the downsides to our trip was that the week before it snowed a lot in the Grand Canyons. And so it wasn't snowing anymore, but there was snow on the ground and then muddy. It was so muddy that it was hard to go down the trails at the Grand Canyon. So my husband and daughter had a mule ride set to go, and it was canceled just because of the terrain was just muddy and snowy, and it would have been dangerous for the mules and it would have been dangerous for people as well. And so we weren't able to do the ride down to the Grand Canyons. But it was still amazing to see. It was super, super cold. I'm like wearing hats and gloves and coats. It was like 32 degrees and I'm like, am I in New England? Why is it so cold? But that was an awesome experience, and I was so happy that I was able to be there with my children and my husband and just embrace the beauty that God has created for us. That same day, we headed to Scottsdale, Arizona, and what a difference in regards to temperature. We went from like 30, 32 to like 75, 80 degrees, and just, it was so, so nice to be in warmth. I really thought that the whole of Arizona was like hot, and I realized as I was packing and getting ready and researching that no, there's only certain parts that's really warm, but other parts are cold. So I was just so happy that we were able to end in Scottsdale, where it was nice and warm. The sun was beating down on you. It was so much that I had to wear a hat. It was just beautiful to feel the sun on my skin at like 75 to 80 degree weather. So that was really nice. We were able to walk around Old Town Scottsdale. We ended up staying at the Canopy by Hilton, and I loved it. I loved the architecture. I loved the furnishings. I loved the room. It was really beautiful and very modern. I know what it reminded me of, like mid-century modern, which is like my thing. The house that I live in is very mid-century modern, but it was that, but with a little bit of southwestern flair, and it was beautiful. The people were amazing. We had to leave the next day later in the afternoon, and you know, we asked if it's okay if we can have a late checkout, and they were really accommodating. We actually came there early and they were accommodating and allowed us to go in early and go into our room early. I just really, really loved it. The food, we had breakfast there and it was delicious, like delicious. Southwestern flair food. Yeah, I can't say enough about the Canopy in Hilton, and the people that work there were just really nice. And that's one of the things that my husband really kept commenting, is that everybody was like really nice and friendly, which was really awesome about people from Arizona. One of the things that we went to in Scottsdale that I really, just like Sedona, Scottsdale has a ton of galleries, especially in Old Town. I mean, they're everywhere. And you know, we're walking around and we ended up in this store. It was a gallery, fine art, bookstore, jewelry, and design. It was in Old Town, and I highly recommend going there. It's called Anticus, Anticus, and loved it. I love the fact that they had beautiful, beautiful art pieces, whether it was paintings or photography or sculptures. It was really beautiful. But then also it was like a bookstore. So we were able to get a couple of books. One that we got for my husband's father for his birthday. I was able to get some beautiful photography for our home there. I just loved it. You could just walk around and not just see the art, but books as well, and jewelry as well. And the people were really friendly there. We talked to one of the owners. He is a sculptist, and he was actually creating something while we were there. And it was just awesome. We ended up staying there for a long while, just looking around and talking with the people that work there and buying things. But I love the idea of just not only art gallery, but also bookstore and jewelry store. So I highly recommend it in Old Town. Anticus. It's a great place to visit. Later on, we were able to like hang out with one of my cousin and her family. That was really good. My husband and I are always looking at places and saying, hey, I wish I lived there. Like, what does it take to live there, you know? And we could live there, we could do this. And we were talking to them and we were like, oh yeah, Arizona, we can do this. And they were like, yeah, it's really great now, but when the summer comes, there'll be like 2 months where you can't leave your house. And if you leave your house, you're going into your air-conditioned car. And then the air-conditioned store. Like, it's really, really so hot that you don't want to be outside. So I was like, okay, scratch that idea. Like, at least in New England, it is cold, but you can be out there. There might be a week or so that is really, really cold and you're not going outside, but that's just a week. It's not 2 months. Unlike like maybe Wisconsin or Minnesota, where it's like super like negative below, you know? So, but it was just a great experience. I came back relaxed, rejuvenated, and ready to like conquer the world. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you liked it. I hope you're inspired to visit one of the awesome places in the United States, Arizona, and get to see Sedona. Definitely visit there, Grand Canyons, and Scottsdale. Well, I want to say goodbye. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. Bye.